Shalom everyone. In today's video, I wanted to share more about my testimony of healing. See, the Lord has been bringing me through this incredible journey of healing over the last 10 years, and He has really placed it in my heart to share that with all of you. And so here I am sharing the journey that He is taking me on, and I do hope that it encourages and gives hope to those who need it. In my last video, I talked more about the spiritual root of my anxiety, PTSD, and panic disorder and how the Lord delivered me from that. And in today's video, I want to talk about how He's been bringing me through a prolonged journey of physical healing from my chronic late-stage Lyme disease and my reoccurring Epstein-Barr virus. So it was about 2010, maybe 2011, I started getting sick. And I didn't know what it was or what was happening. It started slowly and started progressively getting worse and worse. I didn't think much of it. I was under a lot of stress. I was in my mid-20s running around, not taking care of myself the way I should by any means. And so I didn't really take it seriously until one day I caught the flu from someone. And I never got better. And so at that point, that's when things got serious. That's when things started to really take a toll on my life. I didn't know what was going on. I went to medical professionals all across the board. None of them could figure out what was going on with me. I had so many blood tests done, like dozens of blood tests done. I was poked and prodded in every which way you could imagine. I had all kinds of procedures. I went to different professionals, from a family doctor to GI specialists. I was in and out of urgent cares and ERs. I just had all kinds of things done to find out what was going on and why I was so sick and why I wasn't getting better. At one point, I was having fever spikes that would just hit me just spontaneously. I mean, I would be sitting, hanging out with friends. I would get up off the couch to walk across the room for whatever reason, to get a drink, go to the bathroom, whatever, and halfway to my destination, I would just get this fever spike and I would drop to the floor, shivering and convulsing because of these fever spikes. And my boyfriend at the time, he was so wonderful. He just, set me up on a couch or a bed and he wrapped me up with blankets and try to warm me up and just give me words of encouragement like, this will pass. They always do. Hang in there, And it really was like wild. Some of these, it just hit me out of the blue like that. I was also had panic attacks that would happen out of nowhere, especially when I was in a car or I went somewhere where I didn't feel comfortable or I felt trapped. If I did have some kind of like fever spike or symptom that would flare up, if I wasn't in a place where I could really handle that well and get the comfort that I needed, I would have panic attacks. On top of that, my digestive tract completely shut down. I mean, I could not eat anything. It would just sit in my gut when I did eat, and it would just fester and ferment and just make me have debilitating pains and cramps and nausea that could last anywhere from a couple of hours to a couple of days. It was very, very uncomfortable. And when I say my digestive tract didn't work, I didn't even puke it back up. It would just sit there because my digestive tract was no longer working. I had depleted adrenal glands. I had severe adrenal fatigue. They even started testing me for Addison's disease, which is when your adrenal glands shut down completely, and when that happens, you gotta shove a big needle in your heart and pump some adrenaline into you to stay alive. Thankfully, be praised, I did not have Addison's disease, but my adrenals were so depleted and so exhausted that I was showing symptoms of that. And I became bedridden. I became very, very weak. I wasn't eating. It was a really, really dark time, and I didn't have answers, and I didn't have any way to know how to treat it or anything like that, because none of the medical professionals could figure out what was wrong. I mean, everything they thought to test me for was coming back within normal range, and it was just they didn't have any leads. And so that was very discouraging. And I remember one doctor saying, "Oh, I bet the digestive issues are due to the gallbladder." I had my gallbladder removed under the assumption that if I had my gallbladder removed, all of my problems would go away. And so I went under the knife, and I just hoping for any kind of improvement to relieve my pain and my sickness. I didn't really even look into it. I just said, "Oh, the doctors think this will help. I'll do it. I'll do anything." And I went under the knife, and I had my gallbladder removed. And not only did that not fix what was going on, it actually made everything worse. And so at this point, I was on medical leave from my job. I could not work. I barely left the bed, and I just, every ounce of my social life, every ounce of any life I had was just gone. I just was in my sick bed, and I was quite literally withering away. And I did not know how long this was going to go. I didn't, like I said, I didn't have any leads. I didn't have any hope. I didn't have any answers to the questions that were going on. No hope whatsoever. But I knew I was very, very sick. I went into, after, I think it was a week or two after my surgery, I had not even taken a shower. I was too sick and too weak to even take a shower. And I remember the day I finally got up out of bed, and I said, "I'm going to take my shower." And I walked into the bathroom, and I was able to very slowly get in there, and slowly was able to wash myself for the first time, which seemed like forever. And I remember looking down, I was washing my leg, and I just looked down at my leg, at this skinny little scrawny looking leg. And I just remember thinking, whose leg is that? That's not my leg. I was bedridden so long that my muscles were starting to deteriorate, to shrink. And so not only was I losing weight from not eating, but I was losing muscle mass because I wasn't using my muscles. And so the whole shape of my body was completely changing. It was wild. I had never experienced anything like this. My face was sunken in. I had really large black rings under my eyes. I looked sick, and I looked like I was withering away. Sometimes I wish I had taken a photo of myself back then, just to show everybody just how bad it had gotten. But I didn't. Why would you even think to want to take a picture of yourself in that state? But I didn't realize the journey that the Lord was about to bring me through. And praise Abba for bringing me through that and being able to stand here today. I remember from my sick bed, I thought, well, I'm not getting any help from medical professionals. I have no answers. I don't know what's going on with me. And so I started to take health into my own health into my own hands. And it was from my sick bed that I started to do research. I sat there with my laptop, and for hours upon hours a day, all day, every day, I was just researching every single thing I could about my specific symptoms and how other people may have, addressed those symptoms. Is there anybody who has helped those symptoms, and is there hope for me? I started finding blogs from people who were doing more natural solutions and alternative medicine, herbal remedies, and supplementation and different things like that. And as I started to find people say, oh, I had this symptom, I did this, and it helped me, I go, okay, I'm going to do that. And so I would take these suggestions, and I started to try these different natural remedies. Simple things like taking a daily probiotic, and if I couldn't digest food, well, take some digestive enzymes. I started researching a lot about the raw organic apple cider vinegar with the mother. I read the book that was written by the Bragg's company. They wrote a book about the healing benefits of apple cider vinegar. I started drinking the apple cider vinegar drinks 3 times a day. I was able to start training my digestive tract to start eating solid foods again, or to eat any food whatsoever. And I slowly started to incorporate that into my daily life, little by little, step by step. And the things that I were finding online were helping me. Almost instantly, I was feeling improvement. And I was just so blown away. I was so grateful. And so I started learning more about these things. Why were these things helping when medical science couldn't? Why do doctors not know about these things? Obviously, these are like instantly helping me. Yet, for years, the doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. Why? And so I just started doing more and more research, I was just soaking all of it in. And the more I learned, the more I incorporated into my life, and the better I was getting. I started to heal. My gut was starting to heal, and I was able to start eating more. And I was able to regain strength enough to go back to work and get off of medical leave. And I was starting to slowly gain the weight back, and I was slowly starting to regain muscle. And each step that I took, the Lord just gave me one step further. He'd give me another puzzle piece to put in place, and I would utilize it, and I would benefit from it. And then He'd give me another piece, and I would utilize it, and it would show benefit. And it kept progressing this way. Year after year, I was healing. Every year I was healing. I was better than I was the year before. And interestingly, through this whole process, I ran into other people who have had similar symptoms as I had, and they were getting diagnosed with Lyme disease. And so I started looking up Lyme disease. I started researching everything I could on that. I started to, even though I didn't have a diagnosis myself, I couldn't afford the doctors, these naturopaths or functioning medical doctors. I was literally living paycheck to paycheck at a job that I had, and I think I had Medicaid, and I didn't even have like good insurance. I just had Medicaid, and so I wasn't able to afford going to these doctors that I knew might be able to help me better, or at least test me for Lyme and all of that, but I wasn't able to go. So I thought, my dad's going, well, if you think you have Lyme disease, why don't you just treat yourself like you have Lyme disease and see if it helps. Makes sense, right? So I decided, okay, let's try a few things. So I started to really do things to help with my immune system. I started doing everything I could to reduce the toxic load in my life. I started removing chemicals from my life, out of my food, out of my skincare, out of my household cleaners. I was just completely getting rid of all of these chemically based products in my life, and I started replacing those things with all natural things, essential oils, herbal remedies, botanicals. I was going all organic. I had gotten to a point where I was able to finally physically eat everything except for meat protein. And even today, I still don't eat animal protein, but that's more choice than it is a necessity. I probably could wean myself on to meat again, progressively, slowly, to build back those enzymes that I would need to digest them. But I honestly thrive on a vegetarian diet. I'm actually a mostly vegan, high fruit diet right now, and I really do well on that. So I could introduce meat back, but because I'm doing so well without it, I don't. So anyway, I then discovered chiropractic care and how wonderful chiropractic care is. And in fact, I'm pretty sure the Lord just brought it straight to me. There was a chiropractor who was new in the area who came into our work to set up a booth, and one of my coworkers said, "Oh, I think you should talk to him. I think he could help you." And so I sat down with him for about 10 minutes, and he said, "Yes, I can help you, absolutely. Come to my office on Monday." And I went on Monday, and he was able to get me even further in my healing journey. He was able to really help me with my adrenal fatigue specifically, which gave me so much more strength and energy back, which was really helpful. And so I was going through this whole healing journey, not even knowing what I had and what was wrong with me, because I wasn't able to get the diagnosis. And so I get married to a wonderful man who has a great job with great insurance, and the first year we get married, he just says, "I want you to focus on your health. I want you to really see if we can get a diagnosis so that we can really get you healed, completely healed." So that's what I did, and through his insurance and the money that he had saved up, I was able to find a local functioning doctor in our area who was able to officially diagnose me with late-stage chronic Lyme disease. I was able to see those little spirochetes for myself in the testing, and there it was. I had this thought, that assumption that that's what I had, but now I have proof. And along with those testings, we were able to find some co-infections that came along with it. I did have the reoccurring Epstein-Barr virus. I did have several different strands of mycoplasma and a few other things that were going on inside of me. So that was like, wow, here's the proof. This is what's wrong. So I was really, really then able to focus in on treating the actual disease that I had. And through my journey of learning how to manage chronic illness and disease, it really is just giving your body the best ability to heal itself, and really doing things to improve your immune system, strengthen your immune system, strengthen your body as a whole, and eliminate all those things that are going to try to clog up the natural processes of the body that produce healing. And I came out of that, and here I am in 2022, and I had not had a Lyme disease flare-up for about 2 or 3 years, and I am just, now there's a few things that I'm still dealing with that still require some healing, some things that I need to do myself physically and spiritually to allow my body to heal. But there are some things that, just damage from the years and years and years of being debilitatingly ill and having my body attacked by all these little bugs in my body. My body has just been damaged, and those need healing. And so that's what I'm focusing on now that I have tackled the physical aspect of my disease, and getting myself to a place where I am, stable. And I wouldn't call myself cured, but maybe in remission. I hesitate to use the word cured, because I don't know if somebody is ever really cured of late chronic stage Lyme disease, but they can live symptom free. And that is where I am at, and that's where I hope to stay. So so that is a lot of my Lyme disease journey in a very Cliff Note form. As I told you at the beginning of the video, it's been a journey that's taken over 10 years. So there's lots and lots to this, but I wanted to kind of give you a general overview of my journey. And I really believe that the Lord allowed me to go through that journey step by step, little by little, learning all the different steps that it takes to produce healing from these chronic stages. And because I never knew what was wrong with me, I never got that diagnosis in time to really use medicine as an option. I've been able to manage and improve and heal from these things like my Lyme disease and Epstein-Barr virus, mycoplasma, all these things naturally and without any medication, without any pharmaceutical medications. I have only used lifestyle changes, dietary changes, natural solutions like herbal remedies, supplication, essential oils, things like that, and also reducing my toxic load and living a chemical-free life, and really doing it through those natural methods as opposed to going the pharmaceutical route. Now, I don't know if I would have chosen to go this natural route if the Lord had kind of blocked me from getting that diagnosis earlier on, because I think me being as sick as I was, anything the doctor would have said, I think I probably would have been like, yeah, let's try that. But instead, he held off, and he showed me a different route. And that different route has been extremely successful. And as I look back in hindsight, I can see how the journey that the Lord brought me through really was a journey of the biblical process of healing. You know, my digestive tract shut down. Well, I was forced to fast. I fasted for 7 days, was the longest stretch that I fasted. 7 days without any food and barely any water. And fasting, I find out, is very, very healing. And there are other people who have healed themselves from Lyme disease for doing prolonged fasts that are like 5 to 7 days. Interesting. I didn't know that at the time, but looking in hindsight, the Lord knew, and he led me through that. And learning that, even if I can't rely on medical professionals, the Lord has provided everything the human body needs to heal and to thrive and to be their best, at their best health. And he showed me those things little by little, and I was able to experience the healing that these things brought in a personal experience that I could never have learned from books or going to school or anything like that. Granted, I did go back to school. I went to the Institute for Integrative Nutrition to get my health coding certification, because, to be honest, I needed that piece of paper for people to really trust that I knew what I was saying and what I was talking about. But to get that credibility. And I did learn a ton from going to that school, and I'm very grateful the Lord brought me through that in order to get the certification, because that kind of filled in a lot of the gaps that I didn't have on my own. But it really was the Lord showing me exactly what I needed to know, when I needed to know it, in order for healing to occur. And now he has put that calling on my heart to start helping others go through this same process so that they can experience the healing process that I was able to go through. And this is a calling that I definitely am taking seriously, and I mean, that's why I went back to school, to get that certification. And that's why I'm sharing all of this with you now, is to let you know that I was sick. I was debilitatingly sick. I literally was withering away and had no answers and no hope for any improvement. But the Lord showed up, and He showed me exactly what I needed to do to get better. He showed me the physical things that I needed to do. And then once those were in place, then He showed me the spiritual roots of those things that I wasn't able to touch through the physical realm of things. And that was, that created even additional healing that the physical couldn't. And so now I know how this whole process works from a personal experience, and I can relate to people who are struggling to keep up with everyday life because of persistent chronic illness, and I can sympathize with them and I can help them because I was there, and the Lord brought me through that. And now the Lord wants me to help you through whatever debilitating issues you're going through, any chronic health issues, persistent issues that just have you not living the way the Lord wants you to live. What is keeping you from functioning in your purpose, to living the life that you're supposed to be living, to be doing what you are called to do, to walk in the calling that you've been called to? If it is any kind of physical ailment, persistent health issue that is getting in your way and keeping you from living the life that you're supposed to live and doing what you're supposed to do, that if it is hindering you serving and loving God and others, reach out to me. Let me help you. Let me show you what the Lord has shown me, so that you can start the healing process, so you can take your life back and you can start walking in your calling, and to start functioning in the purpose that the Lord has for you. I hope that this video has encouraged you, edified you, and inspired you. And I hope that if you are in need of some help and I can help you, I hope that you take it to the Lord, pray about it, and if He leads you to do so, to reach out to me so that we can work together to get you to the place where you're supposed to be functioning in your God-given purpose. And if you know anyone who could benefit from my coaching or just these videos, please share this information with those who might need some help, hope, and encouragement. And I hope that it will eventually lead you to healing. So thank you for watching. All the information you will need to know to get in contact with me will be found in the description box below. And until next time, shalom.